Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and today we're going to look at the F166 recurve bow from Junxing Archery. It's a hunting bow which is 64 inches axle from tip to tip. It takes international fitting limbs. Now what does that mean? That means the limbs simply, let's hope they clip in, they simply clip together like that, so you've got no turning in and out. Now with the international fitting limbs, you can adjust the poundage of the bow through loosening off the back here and adjusting the poundage here, just like a compound bow. Now you're going to say, how much poundage can you adjust this bow by? About 3 or 4 pounds. Now these bows come fully maxed out, and you can also use it to adjust the tiller of the bow by basically changing the angle of these limbs. So what's the advantage of an international fitting limb? One, you can get different limbs to fit the bow. Just for hunting, like how quick is that to fit, as opposed to screwing in or needing an Allen key to fit it. Now international fitting limbs are generally more expensive on a hunting bow than a standard screw-in limb. Now the Junxing F166 comes in 3 colours: the buckskin colour, the black colour, and then the camo colour. Now the camo comes with camo limbs, so basically when you clip it together, you've got to take the little thing off the back to clip it together. Sometimes with international fitting limbs, they're actually hard to fit. You can see those fitted really well into the riser. So this is a full camo. Now the price on this bow is going to set you back around $250, which means it's a really affordable recurve bow for hunting or for recreational shooting. So let's look at the features of this bow. You've got the ability to fit a sight on the back here. You've got the ability to adjust the angle of the limbs from left to right, same as a top line target bow. You've got the ability to adjust the tiller. Now this bow comes with, in the kit, so it comes with this little kit here. It comes with a string, which is handy because you don't have to buy one. It comes with Allen keys. Now the Allen keys are used to adjust the poundage of the bow and the tiller. It also comes with a little one from the sides to adjust the angle of the limbs left to right. So that's really good. It comes with all the Allen keys that you need. Now what I really like about the 166 is you have the option of either going for a screw-on arrow rest, like the one it comes with here, or you can fit this feature here, which is a plate, to the side of the bow, and you can use it as basically shoot straight off the shelf bow. So if you want to shoot with something like a bear hair rest or a piece of leather, shoot straight off the shelf, just like a traditional bow with feathers, you can with the 166. Or if you want to go for something a little bit more advanced, like a flip away arrow rest, like a target archer would use, because you're looking for that target archer accuracy, like a plunger button with a flipper rest, you can actually do it with this bow. So it really doesn't matter which way you're setting this bow up, you can use it either way. Now it's a cast riser with an Allen stabilizer hole in the front, so if you want to fit a stabilizer you can. The grip itself is plastic and it fits quite nicely into the hand. I'm going to say, if anything, the grip is probably wider than I would like it, but still more narrow than a traditional wooden gripped bow. Now, first off, let's talk about the quality of Junxing, because in the past I've had lots of issues with quality of recurve bows. So back in the day when I stocked a major supplier of recurve bows, I had a 50% warranty return rate. So 50% of those bows, half of the bows I sold, were returned to me in that year because the limb broke. Now so far with Junxing, touch wood, I've had none, zero replacements I've been selling them now for probably 8 months, and I've had no returns, so it's really, really good. So I'm really happy about that. So let's just have a look up close on the Junxing bow. So let's look up close. So the riser itself, the black paint itself, it's not a smooth finish, it's a little bit rough, but nothing like the Hoyt, which is like a sandpaper type finish. There's the limb pocket there, that's a really nice fitting there. See how the groove here is quite deep? It enables it to clip in really well. Now to adjust the limb from side to side, you loosen that bolt there, and you've got it's a push-pull mechanism, so you've got a little screw there to push, and then you'd loosen this one off here and increase the tension there to move it left to right. The grip here, you can see the shape of it. It's quite good, nice and comfortable. The weight of the bow is actually quite good. I like the feel of it. I like the design of the riser. So to me, this is a really nice bow to pick up and touch and feel. Now, the big thing on the limbs. The limbs are critical to a recurve bow. The more recurve you've got on the limb, the faster it's going to shoot, and generally the better it's going to shoot. You'll see with this limb here, it's got quite a bit of recurve, almost 90 degrees. Now, the competitors for this bow, for the 166, are basically going to be cheap wooden bows, and a lot of them have really cheap limbs. To me, this is a good quality wood limb, and let's just have a look at the laminations up close. Come on, focus. You can see it's a twin lamination. So twin lamination. Now the limb tips, you can see a nice and deep and nice narrow limb tip. And inside here, you can see there, it's nice and smooth, nice finish overall. The edges of the limb are not sharp, they've been nicely tapered to the side, and the finish of the paintwork is top class. Clips together really nicely. So overall, the way this bow clips together I find really, really good. For an international fitting limb hunting bow, this is the best value bow on the market. Let's just call it what it is. This is the best value bow on the market as far as hunting recurve bows. Now, one of my customers came to my shop and said he got advised to buy a Samick Sage. You have not shot the Samick Sage and compared it to other bows if you really believe that, because there is no way. It's not even close. And I'm not even talking about quality here. I'm just talking about the sheer performance of the bow. This is the goods. Now let's go and shoot it. International fitting limbs click together. This is pure. Now what is this bow missing? So let's look at the T bow, which is the closest bow to this in price. The T bow comes with a wooden grip as opposed to a plastic grip, and it comes with a bow stringer, a pretty decent bow stringer. So this kit, which is roughly $250, would benefit from a bow stringer in the kit, and maybe I should be selling it with a bow stringer to stop people stringing around their legs and breaking the recurve. I'm going to stress that if you string this bow or any other recurve around your legs, you risk twisting the limb around your leg and breaking the limb. I'm going to say 90% of all warranties I see with a recurve bow are strung around a person's leg. And I don't care if your mate's done it for 10 years, like the way he has, it only takes once to break the bow. And I get enough warranty returns where people string them around their legs to say, please don't do it, just buy yourself a bow stringer, which costs $10. So with that, let's go and shoot this bow and let's see what we think of it. Okay, so we're out here to shoot the 166 recurve for the first time. Now if you're going to use this for hunting, for your first shot, make sure you've shot it before you aim at the deer. Because sometimes on your first shot, those limbs, when you shoot them, will make a crack sound. And that's the limbs just settling in. It's very common on target recurves that the first shot will make a crack sound. So the first shot, which is what I'm going to take now, let's just see what it sounds like. And you can made no crack, it was just beautiful. Now, the questions you should be asking. Now, what sort of rest should I be shooting? Should I be shooting this rest or a off the shelf? Should I be shooting a flipper rest? What rest should I be shooting? It depends on you. If you're going to shoot a rest off the shelf, you can see this has got a curved riser here, so perfectly suitable for shooting off the shelf. If you're going to shoot one of those rests, then you need feathers on your arrows. If I could reach my arrows. So you need feathers. Now I don't care really what arrows you shoot. Now is spine important? Spine's really important for recurves to get the best out of it. Now these arrows are too stiff for this bow, but they are with feathers, so the feathers are going to compensate a little bit for that. So these are a cheap carbon arrow. They're around $8 each that I'm using. You can shoot a gold tip traditional or a Victory traditional arrow with feathers, but they're going to cost you more. You can shoot wood arrows with feathers, make them yourself, you can dip them. Just part of the traditional kind of theme with a traditional bow. Now, so off the shelf, you need feathers. No questions, vanes, waste of time. Now, if you're going to shoot a flipper rest, like a metal flipper rest, then you can shoot plastic or feathers. Feathers are always going to correct quicker than vanes. Feathers are also going to be more susceptible if the tune of the bow is not quite correct, because those feathers are going to collapse when you shoot. Basically, clear out the way. With a plastic vane, it'll strike and cause the arrow to deflect. So especially with hunting recurves, I'm a big fan of feathers. Now, how big a feather are you going to need? I'm going to say 4 inches. 4 inches, especially for hunting, or even 5 inches, put on helical onto the bow. 2 knocking points. Now, how you shoot, whether you shoot 3 fingers under, split finger, which is how I shoot, that's up to you. That's personal preference. But let's just have a feel of what this bow's like. Now, I'm going to first off talk about the draw cycle. So here, this is a 45-pound bow, so this is about the same as my target bow. So here, it's quite solid. Solid. I'm getting to about 31 inches. I cannot feel this bow stacking at all. It's a good draw cycle. Now, I started this review talking about a bow called a Samick Sage. Now, if you do that with a Samick Sage, you're not going to be able to draw that bow 31 inches because it just stops at around 28 inches. And it's soft to start off with. So the poundage really builds up quickly on a bow like a Samick Sage because it's got cheaper limbs. These limbs are good. They are good quality limbs. Now you can see they come back a little bit. That's a good quality limb. It looks nice, it feels nice. Now, let's listen to this bow shoot. Now you can hear there's a little bit of a twang afterwards. To get rid of that, a set of cat's whiskers are really good. You can put eliminator buttons on the string here. You can put felt on the back of the limb. The biggest impact to reduce the noise is going to be the cat's whiskers on the string, whether you use cat whiskers, puffs, but this is, to me, pretty quiet. And arm back quiver's annoying. I just need that adjusted. So this is my dad's old quiver and I haven't adjusted it for myself. It's just been sitting there, so now, one of the questions you're going to ask, shall I shoot instinctive or shall I shoot with sights? Because this bow obviously allows you to shoot with sights or with a bow quiver on the side. Now, for me, this type of bow, I'd shoot instinctive because it's just a bit of fun. There are definitely people who shoot this bow with sights because they're looking for a bit more accuracy. But for me, with this type of bow, I just basically pull it back and shoot. Now, there are going to be some people who shoot this like string walking. I'm not going to do a video on string walking. For me, I just pull it back and I shoot. I look down the arrow and I shoot. Now, I'm going to say I'm the first person I don't shoot very well instinctively. So there are a whole bunch of people who do. So you can watch videos on them. But to me, this is a nice feeling bow. The noise is pretty good. It's as loud or as quiet as any other recurve. To me, that's pretty good. And for the price tag, I'm going to say there's nothing better on the market than this, the 166. Now, with the options of colors, that being the black, the buckskin, or the camo, gives you a whole bunch of options for your next hunting rig. You can get a roll-up pack, a roll-up case to put this in. I think the roll-up case is about $35. Get yourself some cheap carbon arrows with feathers because carbon arrows are really strong. Unless you want to make wooden arrows because that's just a bit of fun. I would definitely look at making some wooden arrows for myself, especially if I had a bit of time. But it's a really nice bow. Now, how does it compare to the T-bow? Because that's the last bow I shot, and I've just fiddled around with it last weekend. I'm going to say the T-bow is a better bow. I like the grip on the T-bow better than this. I'm going to say the speeds are about the same. The draw cycle is pretty much the same. I'm just going to say the wood grip is better on the T-bow. The riser is probably better, but I'm going to say there's nothing wrong with this riser. So it's just a wood grip versus a plastic grip. The T-bow is more expensive than this bow by quite a bit, but it does come with felt for the rest, for shooting off the shelf, and it does come with a bowstringer. So you say a bowstringer might be 20 bucks, the felt's about $10, so there's about $30 worth of value. Wood grip versus plastic grip, I don't know what you put on that, but there's definitely a value to that. But this, at its price point, it's not even close. This is the best value hunting recurve on the market, in my opinion. International fitting limbs with all the bits, great draw cycle. It's just, it's the go. Look at the quality of the limbs just there. How nice is that? It's just a really nice bit of gear. So I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Check out the 166, Junxing 166. They should be sort of available everywhere. In different countries you'll see this bow, maybe not with this brand on it, but with another brand, labeled differently, because they will label this bow and put whatever label you want on it, and I did consider that, renaming the bow and calling it something else, but I was like, doesn't matter, the bow is the bow, and it's a pretty cool little bow to shoot. Definitely one of my favorite little bows. International fitting limbs is just awesome for setup too, so quick. So really nice bow. I honestly could not be happier with this bow, especially at the price point they put on this. Now the warranty on this bow, I'm going to say is going to be about a year, which is pretty standard on recurve bows. So basically keep the wood limbs out of heat, so out of extreme heat. So the back seat of a car window, don't want the bow there. And don't string the limbs around your legs, and you'll be pretty much in business with it. You can see there's no twist on the limbs, top and bottom, everything's perfect. Good little bow. And the Junxing company from China I find really, really good. If I have a problem, they generally fix it really quick. So yeah, really good company. And if you make a suggestion to them about things to improve, they do improve it, and they've already made changes to some of the things I've suggested, which I haven't included yet in videos, but I probably should have to revisit their products. But this is a good product, just freshly released. It's only just been on the market for a very short time, but this all looks good. I like the shape, and at about $250 Australian, it's dirt cheap. And it's just awesome, a good bit of gear. Now the difference between these limbs and carbon limbs is going to be minor. So you're going to probably say, well, should I get foam limbs, should I get carbon limbs? We found virtually no difference in speed. So I'm going to say, look, this is fine, especially at its price point. Now replacement limbs for this bow, I'm going to guess the price on the limbs, if you're okay with me guessing, because I'm going to guess that probably about $150 for a set of limbs, which still puts it at the cheap end of town. But yeah, cheap. So if you want to go from 45 to 50 pounds, you just buy a set of limbs, stick them on. It's probably still best to sell this bow and just buy a whole new bow than doing that, because generally this bow would be easy to sell at about the $150, $160 price point, second hand, and then you just go and buy a new bow, so it's going to cost you $90 to up the poundage. It's very rare that you're going to want a bow which is 45 and 50 pounds. Very, very rare that you want to do that. The only reason why you want to do that is you train with 45 and you're going to use 50 pound for hunting or something like that. So I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Check out the Junxing 166 at your local archery shop or online. Thank you for watching. Bye.